Okay, we're back on the 1951 Ford truck, specifically on this fender and cab corner that I've been messing with the weird paint that was on there. If you may remember, I just stripped and stripped and stripped on this sucker. Got a lot of the original red to show through, but unfortunately ran into kind of a wall with this awful black primer that was under there, and I just kind of smeared that around, and where I didn't smear it around, I broke through into quite a little bit of bare metal. And I'm not necessarily opposed to the bare metal look, but just concerned about that for long-term viability. So I think what we're going to do, I'd mentioned just maybe I'll overspray some of this stuff, is, so I don't want to just completely respray that. Just basically hit over some of these areas, maybe in sort of like introduce some red streaks to kind of, well, I was said on my last video about how so many people have like a faux fauxtina, and I've got the real thing, but maybe kind of recreate a little bit of a faux fauxtina here just to make this look a little more aesthetically pleasing, because I mean, I don't hate the look of it. I was kind of really disappointed at the end of the last video where I really felt like, oh boy, I'd mucked this thing up. I should have just left it alone. But, you know, onward and upward. So we have gotten ourselves some Ford vermilion red paint in the enamel. So we're going to go ahead and use that for touch-ups. And as you can see here, to try and how I can do it to apply it sort of in just in little streaks and splashes, I've made myself a little template there. And the idea is that I'm not going to just spray it on there and leave it, is I'm going to kind of spray it in horizontal streaks to kind of emulate the natural aging look, and then I'll come over it with and sand it down to kind of help it blend in a little bit and just dull it out a little bit and make it look a little bit more like it has in fact just been aged that way. I also have this weird cab corner here, which you've seen. Really even weirder than the other side. Don't know what was going on there. They had sprayed up to here. I stripped all this off and down to here, and then I got this weird whitish stuff that appeared. I hate to say it, I think I figured out what that is. And that is actually, when I was stripping this and applying the stripper, I had it in an old plastic measuring cup that I use for such things. Well, that stuff is, you know, that chemical eats away at stuff. I think what happened was it was in there for so long that it started to break down the plastic of the container, and so as I was putting the stripper on for that last layer, I actually like just sort of got this bit of plastic in there that is now bonded with the paint. And well, that just looks like shit. And I've gone over it with several things. I got some acetone and went over that and cleaned it up, but it still looks just weird. I mean, I was looking at my truck from a distance the other day, and you know, when you're looking at it from this angle from way, way back, that red cab corner just sticks out, and not in a good way. So I think the same thing, we're going to try and hit that with some of the vermilion red and then sand it down. If it's still not looking good, I may just, believe it or not, go get some brown primer and go over that and recreate what was there, just because I do not like that look. And so I would, you know, keep this here, that natural bit there, and just go over that again, just because, I mean, I like the idea of a truck that doesn't look like every other truck, but yeah, it's just a weird. I mean, like, you know, you look at the truck there and your eye just goes straight to that corner. So we're gonna have to do something about that, and now we will. All right, and before we go ahead and spray this on the fenders, I would like to do a quick test. Remember this is the inside of our back fender, where I tested out some of the different methods to clean the patina. And since we've kind of already got a test area going here, I thought I'd just give this a few squirts. I'm 99% sure this is the right paint color, but just wanted to give it a few shots just to, you know, kind of see how it looks. Oh, that cuff. obviously that's just on there that will dull down a bit, but yeah, I think we can definitely say that's that beautiful orangey red color with a lot of blue in it, and I'm willing to go ahead and commit and say that's the correct color. So we'll go ahead and give this a whirl. Boy, the neighbors are out in force with the lawn equipment this evening. All right, now that's obviously not even, and even is not really what I'm going for. I just kind of wanted to cover up those strange white patches, and then like I say, I'm going to come back over this after it dries and scuff it up, sand it, dull it down, and see how that looks. Try and just hit this patch right there. All right. All right, I gotta say that's looking pretty good. Did it kind of exactly what I wanted, which was cover up the bare metal and weirdly kind of almost make the black look palatable. All right, let's do some more. All right, the lighting's a little weird here because we got the sun right at the coming over the horizon, but I don't know. It's really interesting. So you can almost see where I sprayed and where I didn't, and leaving some bits of black in there, but more red. Almost looks like a brick pattern there. I don't know. I'm kind of liking it. So I'm not sure what the drying times are like on enamel, but probably let this go overnight so it's dry enough that I can scuff it and sand it. So you can see probably the difference between, so this is untouched, original patina, here is where I did some stripping and stuff. You see some more of that black stuff there. And all this here I pretty much left as is. And then you can see as we come out here, really bring out the red, keeping the black. But really, so it's more like remnants of the black as opposed to dominating it completely. I don't know, probably need to hit a little more right there just to, I think that's back there, that's original primer, and that's fading into some of that brown stuff. That's about all that's left of the brown stuff, that brown paint that was on there. And one last look at this. That just looks much better. That was the one part that was just disastrous. I'll do the same thing. I will scuff that down tomorrow, but I have a feeling that I may end up just getting some brownish primer, red-brown primer, and hitting that and recreating the liquid that was in there, which of course may get you to say, well, probably should have just left that part alone. Yeah, I don't know. I am digging this part here. That looks cool to me. It's really weird the different way things came out. There was also some of that paint over here on this cab corner, but it came out just great. Just, you know, the brown paint that was there just came right off and left more of the primer, or excuse me, patina underneath. And that looks just great. See, I would have loved for the other cab corner to turn out just like that, but it did not. Okay, next day. So I got some dry enamel here. So now we're going to try and sand this down, buff it down, basically take away the gloss, kind of dull it out, and even move it around a bit. I might even get some rubbing compound out, but I'm going to start off with some different things. Believe it or not, a lot of people said what they used was just a Scotch pad. So I'm going to try that. I've also got different sandpapers. Here's 220 grit. There's actually a detail block that's 220 as well, and a 500. I'll try these out. Maybe getting progressively more aggressive and see how it looks. Alright, and there's the post dulling down look, which did a pretty good job here taking all that gloss off, making it look a little more like natural aging. I don't know. You tell me what you think. It looks better than it did. I will say that. Does it look great? No. But would I be content riding around in the truck like that? Yeah, I think so. I think, of course, the next step on this is we're going to go over all the patina, get it cleaned up, and then do the boiled linseed oil treatment. So what will that look like with that over top of it? Pretty good, I think. It's obviously going to look like it was different, repainted somehow, something, but does it match the aesthetic of the truck? With kind of, as I said, like sort of a, you know, like the tie on the tuxedo sort of thing. One part that stands out. Yeah. Oh, from back here, that looks pretty cool. Kind of that mix of brown and red and black. Yeah, like I said, I might fiddle with this more, get some rubbing compound onto that, maybe sort of move around a little bit. I also hit this again. Hit this with the dulling down. I'm not a fan of this. In terms of, you know, judging this project, you know, should I have just left well enough alone, just left that weird brown paint on there? I don't know. I think I'm liking the look of the red Fender enough that I would have said, yeah, it was worth the trip. This part, not so much. It doesn't really look cool like the Fender. It just kind of stands out. So I have one other option. See about trying, if I'm brave enough to try this, is to just go over this with some like rusty red metal primer. I don't know if you can tell, but I actually did a test right there with that, and that seems like it matches that fairly well. So what do I want to do? I had an idea to paint this, but not with a brush, but just kind of like one of those styrofoam things, and just sort of like you know, dab it on there, like dab, 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 and then get it to cover, and then do the same thing. Sand it over and see if we can get it to match the rest of the truck a little bit, because, you know, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this part I love. I think that looks really cool, the different going down there. But then you hit this red spot, and I don't know. Aesthetically, I just don't think it works. Alright, and there's the newly primered cab corner. So we'll let that dry overnight, then do the same thing, sand it down, and try and kind of blend it in. And yeah, not great, but better than just the bright red.